Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another EVE Online video. Now, as of recent, we've been doing a lot of talking about gas and ice and stuff like that, and we're going to get away from that because I am still in the prep phase for going the nomad. It's, if I'm being completely honest, the prep phase is taking a lot longer because I want to get to a certain part where I'm comfortable with the kind of like the nest egg and the assets that I've got sitting in the home station, just in case something goes wrong. I will be able to, keep myself covered in ships and stuff like that, but still having enough extra to spare just in case of emergencies. That's actually taken a lot longer than I thought that it would, partly because I've been playing other games, partly because I've been doing other things. The EVE time over the last week or two has dwindled a bit, just because real life stuff and all of that. And it is getting ever closer to my son being born, which obviously means that we're down to a couple of weeks left until he comes along, which means it could possibly drop off a cliff for a bit before coming back. With that being said, though, we're getting away from the gas and ice. We've talked it to death as of recent, so we're going to do something a little different. Now, like I say, is we're building a nest egg, and what that requires is me doing pretty much anything that I want to build up some form of ISK, whether that is actual ISK going straight into the wallet through bounties or missions or anything like that, or actually having assets, like physical assets that can be sold if and when needed to be, which is fine. So obviously I've been doing a lot of other things. Gas and ice is probably the main two. We're doing some scanning data and relic sites. We have been doing some farming for escalations, which escalations I am not getting an awful lot of luck with as of recent. Last 5 or 6 escalations that I've got have all been level 4s, and a total of like 5 6 million from it in combined, all of them, which not great. So yeah, that's that. One of the other things that I've never done before that I wanted to do, and that is wormhole ratting. Okay, now I genuinely believe that there is the people that do wormhole ratting are mental, and then the people that do wormhole ratting solo are a whole new breed of people. That's just, to me, and pardon my French, that's fucking scary, that shit. I'm not joking you, that is scary. Now, if you're new here and this is one of the first videos you're seeing of me, and you're thinking that it's because in a wormholes are scary, no, not really. I do a lot of time in wormholes. I day trip in wormholes, I gas huff in wormholes, data and relic sites in wormholes. Whenever I'm feeling particularly spicy, I pull out my Tengu and I go roaming in wormholes. Wormholes don't bother me anymore. They used to scare the shit out of me, but they don't bother me as much anymore. So I decided, do you know what? I've been farming for some escalations. It hasn't been going my way. When I do get them, I'm getting shit loot, or they're in certain systems that I'm just not even going to risk my ship going into. So I decided that we were going to do some wormhole ratting. Now, never having done a wormhole ratting before, I was like, right, there's you have to read up on it, you have to look at some videos, you have to know what you're doing, and you have to have the right ship for it, and then you also have to be aware of what class of wormhole you're in. Now, I believe I was in a C2 or a C3, thinking, because if I'm being completely honest, the recording of this audio and the recording of the footage that you're seeing in the background is probably about a month apart. Okay, so it has been a while. I believe it was a C3, but checking on the the footage in the background if you can see something that shows. Otherwise, obviously drop it in the comments and let me know what type of class of wormhole it was. I believe it was a C3. And I went in and found a ship that was a passive tank Drake, I believe it was. And I think the Drake is a good looking ship, so I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? Pretty cheap as well, going in, getting the stuff. It takes a while because the sleepers, right, they are just tanks, basically. They don't do an awful lot of damage, but they are damage sponges. They just tank the shit out of everything. So it was taking me a while, and then at the start I was like, right, and I was getting in, and whenever I realised that my shield wasn't dropping below, I think the lowest it got was like 50% or something like that, I kind of got set at ease. I really did get set at ease, and then I was sitting there and I was doing my thing, and had my drones out, and I had the tractor unit out, and we were just doing it. It was fine, everything was great. We were moving along as normal, but then something just clicked in me. It really did just click in me. I was like, anytime I'm in a wormhole, okay, I'm either in one of three ships. One I don't really use anymore as much, and that would be the Tengu. Then the other two ships is usually a Buzzard or an Astero, and the other's a Prospect. Okay, Buzzard, Astero, Prospect, insanely quick, right? Hard to catch, hard to lock onto, can warp. My Buzzard is a 2 second align time, I believe it is. Warps pretty quickly too. So that's the three ships. Tengus are, unless you're part of a group, a lot of people see Tengus and just be like, no thanks. Even though Tengus aren't that, to be honest, Tengus are not that scary, but people see it on their D-scan and they're like, no thanks. Plus a Tengu, if someone came, I could just kind of warp out and just go invisible, cloak up, warp out. Great, you could do that, no problem. The Drake can't do any of those things, right? The Drake cannot cloak up. Probably could, but I didn't have a cloaking device on it. Slow warp time or slow align time. So I was sitting there and I was like, I was constantly, at one stage, I'm not even joking, I was just spamming my spacebar because I have space for my D-scan, and I was just constantly spamming it because I started to freak out. Like halfway through this site, I started to freak out, thinking, if someone warps in, I'm dead, right? And at that stage I was like, I don't really care about the ship because I bought the ship only for this. The ship wasn't that expensive. I believe it was like 80 or 90 million, maybe. It could be wrong, actually. Do you know what? Let me just check because I'm on here now. What was it? Drake. Okay, it might be. I'm actually looking at the thing here. Wait there, because let me actually save this. Okay, so simulate fit 91 million, and the name of it was a C2 passive. So probably was a C2 actually. Maybe, could be wrong. But yeah, I started freaking out halfway through it. I was like, if someone drops in on me, I'm dead. And I was more annoyed or more worried about the time that I had spent going and getting the ship back, finding a suitable wormhole, getting into the wormhole and getting to the part and then starting it. I was more worried about that just being a colossal waste of time rather than the ISK. And I know, there's a lot of times that people would say, if you're doing ratting in a wormhole, have another account sitting at the wormhole cloaked up or something like that, so that you can see anyone coming in, and that's all well and good, but I don't pay attention for the most part to my main account. You really think I'm going to be able to pay attention to a second account while ratting in a wormhole while freaking out? Definitely is. You people that do wormhole ratting, you definitely are a different breed of people. And it was actually on the morning of recording this audio, Zach, who, if you don't know, is another content creator for Eve. He was like, oh, we're going to be doing some wormhole ratting after downtime, and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm not even joking. I started to get a bit scared even seeing the message come through, and he's like, are you coming? And I was like, which, do you know what, if I am not busy, I definitely will. But with that being said, that obviously I think, generally speaking, I'm going to stay away from wormhole ratting, because I'm not joking, that shit was terrifying. It really was, because I just felt the way my ship was so slow. The passive tank is great because it's less to manage, but at the same time, seeing the damage that I was doing to the sleepers and how long it was taking it, I was just like, if someone drops in on me, I am dead. And you know what? See, just as I finished the site and picked up the MTU, 2 ships dropped in on me. One was a jackdaw, and I can't remember what the other one was, and they tried getting me, but they couldn't. So I finished just in time and got out with the loot, left the Drake off, and I was just like, do you know what, strip the Drake, put it away in the storage. I am not doing that again, and I'm not. I would happily spend my time in the middle of a gas field in a wormhole being chased by 3 to 4 other people than be left alone in a wormhole rat site. You people are a different breed, and fair fucks to you, but you'll not catch me doing that, especially solo. You know, in the terms of doing it with Zach and stuff, definitely 100% I would do it with Lemons. But no, just no. I can honestly say I've tried it, and just like faction warfare, it's not for me. Simple. Maybe somewhere down the line I will start to like it again. It's not for me. I'm just going to stick with normal ratting, and you people can keep your wormholes, because that shit is genuinely terrifying to me. So with that being said, I'm out, and thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay safe.